Beloved chosen ones, do you ever feel the tension in the air when you walk into a room? The hushed whispers, the stolen glances, the subtle discomfort that your mere presence seems to cause. Perhaps you've noticed how even those who once plotted against you are now retreating, keeping their distance as if something about you has changed. Let me assure you, it's not a coincidence. You are a storm they never saw coming. You didn't strive for this power or seek to disrupt their comfort zones. Yet here you are, chosen, anointed, and walking in divine purpose. Your light shines so brightly it exposes their insecurities, and your unwavering faith shakes their fragile plans. This is the reality of being one of God's chosen ones. It's not about being loud or seeking attention. It's about the unshakable presence of God within you. Like David, who stepped forward with just a sling and faith to face Goliath. 1 Samuel 17. You didn't ask for greatness, but it's your obedience and faith that set you apart. David didn't need approval or applause. He simply walked in the purpose God had for him. And just as David turned a giant into dust, you are turning challenges into testimonies and rejection into recognition. Isn't it remarkable how God chooses the seemingly overlooked to carry his most powerful anointing? To everyone faithfully watching, your unwavering support means so much. Thank you from the depths of my heart for every comment, every share, and for those who have supported through Super Thanks. Your generosity is deeply appreciated. If you're ready to boldly declare your divine purpose, take a moment to comment 777 below. Let the world know you are unshaken, unstoppable, and walking in the light of God's favor. But here's what I want to ask you. Why do you think even your enemies are retreating? Why are they so terrified of the very presence of someone they once underestimated? What is it about your quiet strength, your unwavering faith, and your undeniable light that has them running scared? Stay with me, because as we journey deeper, we'll uncover the truth about who you are and why you're the force they never expected. You are God's chosen, set apart for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. Let's step into that truth together. God's chosen ones. No one's as dangerous as you. Even your haters are now running away. Number 1. You thrive in chaos while they fear it. What happens to most people when the world falls apart? They freeze, they panic, and they crumble under the weight of uncertainty. But what happens to you? You rise. You stand firm, unshaken, and unwavering. While chaos devours everyone else, it sharpens you like a finely honed blade. Have you ever wondered why you seem to excel where others fail? Why, when the storm hits, you are the only one still standing? Look at the story of Job, a man whose entire world descended into chaos. He lost everything: his wealth, his children, and his health. Job 1:13-22. His friends, his wife, everyone told him to give up. Yet Job refused. Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him. Job 13:15. Have you ever faced a moment where it seemed like everything around you was collapsing? Did you notice that instead of breaking, something within you grew stronger? That's what sets you apart. Chaos doesn't destroy you, it reveals who you truly are. Why do you think others fear chaos so much? Because it strips them of control. It exposes their weaknesses, their lack of preparation, and their shallow foundations. Most people cling to comfort because they cannot function without it. But you were built for moments like this. You do not avoid the fire, you walk into it, because you know something they don't. The fire refines the chosen. Just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who stood unharmed in the fiery furnace because they refused to bow to man. Daniel 3:16-28. Do you feel that same fire? Can you see how the flames that were meant to destroy you are instead forging you into something unstoppable? When the world unravels, people search for someone to lead them. They panic, waiting for orders, waiting for solutions, but not you. Have you noticed how when others are frozen in fear, your instincts take over? While they waste time wringing their hands, you're already moving, already solving problems as though the chaos were nothing more than a puzzle made just for you. Have you ever felt that strange calm in the middle of a storm, that sense of focus while everyone else spirals? This is what makes you dangerous. You are not reckless in chaos. You do not let the pressure make you desperate or foolish. Instead, you remain deliberate, focused, intentional. While others let the storm control them, you become the storm. Can you see now why people fear you? Why their whispers grow louder when you're around? It's because you're unpredictable. They can't box you in, they can't figure you out, and that terrifies them. Consider David again, standing before Goliath. The entire Israelite army had crumbled into chaos, warriors trembling, too afraid to face the giant. 1 Samuel 17:11-24. But David, he saw what no one else could see, an opportunity. What if the chaos you are facing today isn't there to destroy you? What if it's there to reveal you, to prove to the world that God's anointing on your life cannot be stopped by any storm, any enemy, or any obstacle? Here's the truth. People fear what they cannot control, and they cannot control you. They cannot understand how you move so effortlessly through situations that would destroy anyone else. They wonder, how does he keep winning? How does she keep rising? But they will never know. They will never understand that the same chaos that terrifies them builds you. So let me ask you, do you feel the chaos pressing in on you? Do you sense the uncertainty that makes others falter? Good. That's where you belong. God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. You don't just handle chaos, you thrive in it. You were built for this. Let them talk. Let them fear you. Let them run. Why? Because you are too busy building your legacy to explain yourself. While they crumble, you conquer. While they wait for calm, you rise in the storm. Chaos doesn't break you, it proves you. So, chosen one, tell me this. What storm are you facing right now? What battle do you see before you? Do you feel the fire? Then remember, you were made for this. Let the world fear you. Let chaos sharpen you. And when the dust settles, you'll still be standing, stronger, sharper, and more unstoppable than ever before. Number 2. Haters are the architects of their own nightmares. Why are your haters so afraid of you? Is it because you've attacked them? Is it because you've chased them down? No. The truth is far more powerful and far more unsettling for them. Your haters are not running from you. They're running from the reflection of everything they could have been. Just the sight of you, standing tall and unstoppable, shatters their fragile confidence like glass. Think about it. When people see you rising, pushing forward, no matter what life throws at you, it terrifies them. Why? Because you are living proof of what resilience, courage, and God's favor can achieve. Your success holds up a mirror to their own weaknesses. You don't have to say a word. Your presence alone speaks volumes. Does this sound familiar? Remember Joseph, the dreamer? His brothers hated him, not because of anything he had done wrong, but because his dreams revealed his future greatness. Genesis 37:5-11. They were so consumed with jealousy that they threw him into a pit and sold him into slavery. But here's the twist. Joseph's rise was not stopped by their betrayal. In fact, their actions became the very stepping stones God used to position him for greatness. Years later, Joseph stood as Pharaoh's right hand, and the same brothers who hated him were forced to bow before him. Genesis 42:6. Do you see it now? Your haters are the architects of their own nightmares. Every time they try to tear you down, they unknowingly build you up. Here's the brutal truth. Your haters don't actually hate you. They hate what you represent. You are proof that excuses don't matter, that complaining solves nothing, and that success requires courage, sacrifice, and effort. Watching you rise reminds them of every time they chose to quit, to settle, or to blame others for their failures. Your success is their wake-up call, and they can't stand the sound of it. Have you noticed how they lash out? The gossip, the criticisms, the petty attacks, they throw everything at you, hoping you'll stumble. But what happens instead? You keep moving forward. You don't flinch, you don't retaliate, and you certainly don't waste your energy sinking to their level. Does this remind you of Jesus himself? When he was mocked, ridiculed, and accused, he remained silent. Matthew 27:12-14. He did not defend himself, because he knew his mission was far greater than their insults. You too understand this. Your energy is far too precious to waste on people who are not even in the same league as you. Why do they think you're dangerous? It's not because you fight back. It's because you refuse to play their game. They expect you to react, to crumble, to stoop down to their petty level. But you don't. While they're busy running their mouths, you are running laps around them. While they are plotting your downfall, you are making moves they can't predict and achieving things they'll only dream of. Isn't it funny how the very people who criticize you the loudest are the same ones watching you the closest? They pretend not to care, but they're always the first to notice your progress. Why? Because your life is a constant reminder that God's favor cannot be stopped. Like David's enemies, they may plot against you, but no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. So why are they running? They're not fleeing from you. They're fleeing from the truth you represent. You are living proof that success requires effort, faith, and the courage to rise above the noise. And the truth terrifies them. It exposes their excuses, their laziness, and their lack of conviction. You embody everything they know they are not, and everything they could have been if they had the strength to fight. But here's the most dangerous part of all. Their fear isn't about what you've accomplished so far. It's about everything you are capable of. They see the fire in your spirit, the determination in your steps, and the anointing over your life, and it sends chills down their spines. They know deep down that they can't outrun what's coming next. So, have you noticed how the people who tear you down the most are the same ones obsessed with your every move? Have you felt the weight of their envy and wondered why they care so much? It's because they know what you're capable of, even if you don't see it yet. But here's the truth you must hold on to. Their attacks are meaningless. Their words carry no power unless you give them permission to. Like Joseph, like David, like Jesus, you were chosen for something greater. Let them run. Let them talk. While they are consumed by fear, you are too busy building the future God has planned for you. Their nightmares are of their own making. Their fear is not your burden to carry. You are dangerous because you thrive in truth, in purpose, and in God's favor. And nothing, no words, no schemes, no hate, can stop what He has started in you. So stand tall, chosen one. Let the haters flee. Because while they run, you rise. And when the dust settles, you'll still be standing, victorious, unstoppable, and anointed beyond measure. Number 3, you turn rejection into a weapon. What happens when the world rejects you? Most people crumble. They take rejection as a personal attack, as though someone has carved the word unworthy into their soul. But not you. You see rejection for what it really is, a tool, a challenge, a catalyst that ignites something unstoppable within you. Think about this. How many doors have been slammed in your face? How many times were you told you weren't good enough, smart enough, or capable enough? Did you break down and accept their judgment? No. You took their rejection and turned it into fuel. You studied it, shaped it, and transformed it into the very thing that now sets you apart. This is the mark of someone chosen by God. Consider David, again overlooked and dismissed. When Samuel came to anoint Israel's next king, David's own father didn't even bring him forward as a possibility. 1 Samuel 16:11. Rejected by his family, doubted by everyone around him, David could have given up right there. But he didn't. Instead, he continued to honor God, sharpening his skills in the quiet fields as a shepherd. When Goliath appeared, when no one else dared to stand, David was ready. That rejection became the very training ground for his rise to glory. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been rejected so deeply that you felt invisible? How did you respond? Did you shrink back, or did you let it refine you? Like Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers. Genesis 37:28. You understood something that most people never will. Rejection is not the final word. It's the beginning of something greater. Joseph's journey through rejection, betrayal, and false accusations was not the end of his story. It was the very road that led him to power, purpose, and redemption. Here's the truth you already know. Rejection stings. It hurts to be cast aside, to be told you don't measure up. But you don't let that pain define you. Instead, you let it sharpen your focus. You don't hear a no and think it's the end. You hear a challenge. How far can I rise? How much further can I push? And how many times have you taken the doubts of others, their dismissals, their underestimations, and turned them into stepping stones? While they were busy shutting doors in your face, you were busy building your own path. You've mastered the art of using rejection as raw material. Others see rejection as useless, as garbage to be avoided at all costs. But you see it differently. You see potential. You see a foundation that can hold up something extraordinary. Why do most people stop when they're rejected? Because they let it attack their confidence. They take it personally and let it whisper lies into their minds. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not enough. But you? You refuse to let someone else's inability to see your worth define your potential. Their rejection is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of their own limits. They didn't have the vision to see your greatness, and that's their problem, not yours. Consider this. When Jesus returned to his hometown of Nazareth, he was rejected. The people dismissed him, saying, "Isn't this the carpenter's son?" Matthew 13:55-57. They could not see beyond their assumptions of him, and their rejection blinded them to his true power. Yet Jesus did not let their dismissal stop him. He knew his purpose, and he kept moving forward. Like him, you understand this truth. Rejection from man does not cancel the calling of God. That's why you're dangerous. Rejection doesn't weaken you. It makes you stronger. Every no sharpens you. Every dismissal hardens your resolve. While others waste time licking their wounds, you rise from the ashes with a sharper vision and an unstoppable spirit. Have you ever noticed how the very people who rejected you are the same ones watching you now in disbelief? They thought closing that door would end you. Instead, it made you impossible to ignore. So, how many times have you taken rejection and turned it into something extraordinary? How many times have you proven wrong the very people who doubted you? Do you realize the strength it takes to do that? The world thought they could break you, but all they did was hand you the tools to build a legacy. You don't need their approval. You don't need their validation. Like the psalmist declared, The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Psalm 118:22. You are that cornerstone, the foundation of something so great, so powerful, that it leaves your doubters speechless. Here's the truth that terrifies them. Rejection isn't your obstacle, it's your weapon, and you've learned to wield it so effectively that no one who doubted you will ever forget your name. Their no didn't stop you, it launched you. So the next time someone rejects you, don't shrink back. Stand tall, smile, because every rejection is just another opportunity for God to show His glory through you. Let them doubt you. Let them dismiss you. While they're busy underestimating you, you're busy rising. And when they look up, they'll realize you've become everything they said you couldn't be, and more. You were rejected for a reason, not to destroy you, but to reveal you. And now, the same people who turned you away can only watch in awe as you walk into the destiny God has prepared for you. Rejection isn't the end of your story, it's just the beginning. Number 4, silence is your loudest roar. Have you ever noticed how silence unsettles people? They can't stand it. They fill it with noise, distractions, and endless chatter, desperate to prove something, anything. But not you. You have mastered silence like an art form. While others shout to be heard, you stand calm and composed, letting your very presence speak for itself. This isn't weakness, it's strategy. Do you remember Jesus before Pontius Pilate? The Roman governor demanded answers, yet Jesus remained silent. Matthew 27:12-14. Pilate was bewildered. How could someone remain so composed in the face of such accusations? But Jesus knew the truth. Power doesn't need to be proven. It is. Like him, you don't waste energy justifying yourself to people who cannot comprehend your purpose. Instead, you let your actions, your results, and the weight of your presence do the talking. Why does silence make people so uncomfortable? Because it creates mystery. It builds suspense. They don't know what you're thinking, what your next move will be, or how to approach you. Your silence unnerves them because it is a reflection of your discipline and self-control, qualities they lack. While they argue and over-explain, you're already 2 steps ahead, observing, analyzing, and quietly making moves in the shadows. Have you ever seen a lion hunt? A lion doesn't roar while stalking its prey. It moves silently, with focus and precision. Yet everyone knows its power, even when it's still. You are the same. You don't need to shout your strength from the rooftops. People can feel it in your energy, in your restraint, and in the undeniable results you produce. Do you know why your silence is so powerful? It's because when you do decide to speak, your words hit like thunder. Your voice carries weight, not because you're the loudest in the room, but because you have earned their attention. Proverbs 17:27 says, "A man of knowledge uses words with restraint, and a man of understanding is even-tempered." Your ability to hold back, to stay composed, is what sets you apart. While others waste their breath trying to prove their worth, you are too busy building. While they crave validation and applause, you are crafting a legacy that will outlast their noise. Your silence is not absence, it is preparation. And when you finally move, it's impossible to ignore. And have you noticed how people watch you even when you say nothing? Do you feel their unease, their curiosity? That's because true strength doesn't announce itself, it simply exists. Your silence speaks louder than their shouting ever could. So, keep moving in silence. Let your work speak. Let your results roar. And when the time comes to act, let them feel the thunder of your impact. Because in a world full of noise, your silence will echo the loudest. Number 5. You aren't competing. You're redefining the game. Why do so many people waste their lives competing with others? They scramble for trophies, titles, and applause, thinking success is measured by beating the next person. But you've outgrown their small thinking. You aren't competing because you've realized something they haven't. The real power lies in creating your own game. Consider Noah. In a world full of chaos and corruption, Noah wasn't interested in competing for approval or attention. Instead, he obeyed God's call to build something no one else understood. A massive ark. Genesis 6:9-22. People mocked him, laughed at him, and dismissed him as foolish. But Noah wasn't playing by their rules. He was operating on a higher calling, building something that would outlast the noise. When the rains came, Noah's vision saved him and his family, while the rest of the world perished. Do you see the lesson here? While others are busy comparing themselves to each other, you are building something unique, something extraordinary. You're not playing their game because you've designed a new battlefield entirely. They chase temporary victories while you are creating a legacy that cannot be measured against theirs. What makes you so dangerous? It's the fact that you see the bigger picture. You aren't distracted by petty competitions or shallow benchmarks. You don't measure success by their standards because their standards are too small. While they fight for a crown that fades, you are designing empires that will stand the test of time. Think about this. How often do you see others obsess over trends, trying to outshine each other for attention? You don't follow trends, you set them. You don't chase opportunities, you create them. And by the time they realize the rules have changed, you are already miles ahead. Jesus himself redefined the game. The religious leaders of his time expected a warrior king, someone who would compete in their political and social arenas. Instead, Jesus brought a message and a kingdom that operated on entirely different principles: love, forgiveness, and eternal life. His impact was so profound that it reshaped history forever. Like him, you don't fit into their mold because you weren't made for it. Here's the real kicker. You aren't doing any of this to prove a point. You're not out to crush anyone or flaunt superiority. You're simply walking the path God designed for you, authentic, focused, and unstoppable. If others feel threatened, that's their problem, not yours. You're not competing because you've already won the moment you decided to step off their track and build something no one else could copy. So, have you ever felt the pull to keep up with others, only to realize their race is meaningless? Have you noticed how freeing it is to create your own path, where no one else can measure you or hold you back? That's where true power lies. Not in competing, but in redefining the game entirely. By the time they figure out that the old rules don't apply anymore, you're already playing at a level they can't even comprehend. You don't need their validation, their trophies, or their applause. You're too busy building the life, the vision, and the legacy that God has placed in your hands. So step off their track. Let them compete while you create. Let them chase while you build. Because the moment you stopped playing by their rules, you became unstoppable. You aren't just winning the game. You've changed it so completely that no one else even knows how to keep up. Number 6. Fear isn't just a barrier, it's your playground. What happens when most people face fear? They freeze, they back away, they let doubt whisper lies into their minds. You're not ready, you're not capable, you're not enough. But you see fear differently. Where others see a wall they can't climb, you see a door waiting to be kicked open. Are you fearless? No. That's not the point. It's not about eliminating fear. It's about mastering it. You've made peace with fear. You've learned to embrace it, to dance with it, and to use it as fuel instead of chains. Do you remember Peter stepping out of the boat to walk on water? Matthew 14:29-31. The storm raged, the wind howled, and Peter felt fear. But he stepped forward anyway. Why? Because Jesus called him, and Peter trusted that if God was with him, he could handle whatever came next. Have you ever felt that? That pull to step forward, even when fear tells you to stay back. That moment when your heart races, your hands shake, and yet you move anyway. That's where the real breakthroughs happen. Fear doesn't paralyze you. It excites you. You don't wait for certainty because you know the truth. Growth begins on the edge of the unknown. It's where you test your limits, push yourself beyond comfort, and discover that those limits never really existed in the first place. Why do you embrace fear so willingly? Because you've learned that it's not the enemy. It's the evidence you're standing at the edge of something significant. Fear isn't about danger. It's about discovery. It shows you what you're capable of, how far you can go, and who you can become when you silence the voice of doubt and lean into the challenge. Think about David before Goliath. Did fear exist in that valley? Of course. The entire Israelite army trembled, paralyzed by the giant's threats, 1 Samuel 17:11. But David stepped forward, not because he didn't feel fear, but because he refused to let it control him. His confidence came not from his own strength, but from his trust in God's power. David saw the fear, felt the weight of the challenge, and walked straight into it, knowing that the victory was already his. How many times have you stood at the edge of fear and felt the pull to turn back? What if instead you leaned in? What if the very thing you fear is the doorway to your next breakthrough? Most people run when they reach the edge. They shrink back into comfort because it feels safe. But you press forward. Why? Because you've learned that fear shrinks in the presence of courage. With every challenge you face, fear loses its power, and you grow stronger. You've become an expert at making fear small because you refuse to let it win. So, the next time fear whispers, turn back, remember this. Fear isn't the end. It's just the beginning. It's your playground, the uncharted territory where legends are made. Lean in, push forward, because where others see a barrier, you see freedom. And by facing fear head-on, you're becoming the unstoppable force you were always meant to be. Number 7. Your success isn't lucky. It's unstoppable. How many times have they called you lucky? How many times have they looked at your victories and dismissed them as chance? People love to believe in luck because it's easier than facing the truth. The truth that you've worked harder, planned smarter, and sacrificed more than they ever could. Is your success an accident? No, it's the result of strategy, persistence, and a vision so sharp it cuts through every distraction. While they were watching the surface, you were building the foundation. Do you remember Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem? Nehemiah 4:1-20. His enemies mocked him, saying the work would never be finished. But Nehemiah ignored their noise. He kept building, stone by stone, step by step, until the walls stood tall, a symbol of victory. Have you noticed this in your own life? They see your results, your confidence, your momentum, but they don't see the battles you fought behind the scenes. They don't see the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the risks you've taken when no one believed in you. They see the win, but they don't understand the cost. What really confuses them is how effortless you make it seem. They think success just fell into your lap because they don't know how hard you've worked. While they're busy guessing and reacting, you're 10 steps ahead, planning and anticipating moves they can't even see. Is that luck? No, that's preparation. Why do people dismiss your success? Because it's easier for them to believe in luck than to admit you've outworked, outthought, and outlasted them. It's easier to say they're just lucky than to face the reality of their own excuses. They see the fruit but ignore the roots, the discipline, the focus, the vision that drives you. Do you remember Joseph in Egypt? When Pharaoh's dream foretold a famine, Joseph didn't panic. He planned, he anticipated, he built a strategy that saved not only Egypt but nations beyond it. Genesis 41:33-57. Joseph's success wasn't luck. It was the result of divine wisdom, discipline, and preparation. How many times have people underestimated your effort? How often have they dismissed your victories as a fluke? What they don't realize is that every move you make is intentional. Every success is earned. You've learned to adapt, to see setbacks as stepping stones, and to find opportunities where others see obstacles. Here's what truly makes your success unstoppable. It's not built on applause or approval. It's built on vision, persistence, and God's favor. Psalm 90:17 says, "May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us." Yes, establish the work of our hands. Your victories are not accidents. They are blessings that flow from your discipline and obedience. So let them talk. Let them call you lucky. While they're busy watching, you're still building. While they're guessing, you're moving. And by the time they realize what's happened, you're already miles ahead. Your success is unstoppable because it's not dependent on luck. It's built on purpose. You've worked for every inch of it, and nothing can slow you down. Let them misunderstand you. Let them doubt you. But don't ever stop. Because the path you're walking isn't random, it's intentional. And your results will speak louder than any words ever could. Number 8. They hate you because they can't understand you. Why do they hate you? Is it because of what you've done? No, it's because of who you are. You don't fit into their neat little boxes. You don't conform to their rules, their expectations, or their limitations. And that terrifies them. People fear what they can't explain. And you are a walking mystery. Have you ever wondered why some people can't stand your confidence? It's because your independence is a threat to their fragile understanding of the world. You refuse to seek their approval. You don't beg for permission. While they're busy following the crowd, you're blazing your own path, and your audacity challenges everything they thought they knew. Remember Jesus? The Pharisees hated him, not because of what he did, but because they couldn't understand him. He healed the sick, raised the dead, and taught with an authority they couldn't explain. Matthew 7:28-29. Instead of trying to rise to his level, they lashed out, mocked him, and plotted against him. Why? Because his existence shattered their illusions. He didn't follow their rules, and that made him dangerous. Do you see the parallel in your own life? Your resilience, your refusal to settle, your ability to rise above circumstances. They can't process it. They don't know what drives you because your motives come from a place they've never dared to explore. Your vision is too big, your ambition too bold. Instead of asking, "How can I learn from this?" they dismiss you as arrogant or unfair. It's easier for them to hate you than to face the truth that they've limited themselves. Have you ever noticed how people label you? They call you dangerous. They call you too much or impossible to figure out. But let's be honest, they don't hate you. They hate the freedom you represent. You are living proof that their excuses are just illusions. You've broken free of the limits they still cling to, and that makes them deeply uncomfortable. Look at Joseph. His brothers couldn't stand him, not because of anything he did, but because he had a dream, a vision of greatness that they didn't understand. Genesis 37:5-8. They couldn't handle the idea that Joseph would rise above them, so they lashed out, selling him into slavery. But God's plans cannot be stopped. Joseph's rejection became the very path that led him to leadership in Egypt, saving nations during the famine. So, let me ask you this. Are people rejecting you, misunderstanding you, and lashing out? If so, consider it a compliment. It means you're walking in a purpose so profound that it makes others question everything they believe. Chosen one. The truth is, their hatred says nothing about you and everything about them. You are not the problem. their fear is. They resent you because you've shown them that life can be more, that freedom exists beyond their comfort zones. And while they're busy criticizing and misunderstanding you, you're too busy thriving to notice. They will never understand you, and that's okay. You weren't made to be understood. You were made to be unstoppable. Number 9, your strength lies in being unpredictable. How do you stay ahead in a world where everyone is trying to figure you out? By being unpredictable. Your unpredictability isn't chaos, it's power. It's your superpower. While they're busy analyzing your next move, you're already working on the next 5. Think of David and Goliath once more. Goliath thought he had David figured out. He mocked David, assuming he was an easy victory. But David didn't follow the script. Instead of fighting with armor and swords, he came with a sling and a stone, and that unexpected move brought the giant to his knees. 1 Samuel 17:45-50. David's unpredictability became his weapon. Have you noticed how people try to pin you down? They watch you closely, trying to predict your next step. They think they've cracked your code, only to find you've moved far beyond them. That's because you don't follow patterns. You've learned that the greatest victories come from doing what no one expects. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being chaotic or unreliable. It means staying flexible and adaptable. While others cling to routine and predictability, you remain fluid, always ready to pivot, always ahead of the curve. When they think you'll zig, you zag. When they assume you'll stop, you accelerate. Why is unpredictability so powerful? Because when people can't predict you, they can't control you. Your mystery unsettles them. It forces them to second-guess themselves, to question their strategies, and to doubt their abilities. You become the force they can't outmaneuver, the wild card they can't anticipate. Chosen one. Think about it. In a world where most people repeat the same patterns, you are the anomaly. You don't just play the game, you change it. While they're stuck trying to win, you've already designed a new playing field with new rules that they can't even comprehend. Have you ever noticed how people react when you surprise them? When you accomplish what they said was impossible, when you rise higher than they ever expected, their confusion is almost comical. They thought they had you figured out, but you've proven again and again that you are beyond their understanding. Like Jesus, who broke every expectation of what the Messiah would be, you don't fit into their mold. The religious leaders were baffled by his actions, his words, and his authority because he didn't follow their rules. Yet, in his unpredictability, he revealed a power that could not be ignored. The truth is, your unpredictability keeps you in control. While they're scrambling to keep up, you're already onto the next opportunity, the next level, the next breakthrough. You've mastered the art of evolving, of staying ahead, of keeping them guessing. So, are people frustrated because they can't figure you out? Good. That's where you want them. You are not meant to be predictable. You are not meant to be controlled. You are a force of nature, constantly growing, constantly moving, and constantly surprising the world. While they waste time trying to anticipate your moves, you're busy shattering expectations. They'll never see you coming, and that's exactly how you like it. Number 10. Haters can't attack what they can't reach. Why are haters so frustrated with you? Because they can only attack what they can touch. And you've risen so far above their reach that their stones never connect. It's like watching someone shout at the sky, hoping the clouds will come down to meet them. While they throw words meant to break you, you've transcended their level entirely. Think about Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. Nehemiah 6:1-9. His enemies, Sanballat and Tobiah, tried every trick to tear him down, mocking him, spreading rumors, and even plotting to harm him. But Nehemiah refused to come down from the wall. He said, "I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down." Nehemiah 6:3. Have you noticed how the more focused you are on your purpose, the less their negativity matters? Like Nehemiah, you've positioned yourself at a height where their noise becomes meaningless static. Here's something to reflect on. Haters thrive on reaction. They expect you to stoop to their level, to argue back, to defend yourself. But when you stay calm, focused and unbothered, their frustration grows. They cannot comprehend how you keep moving forward while they're busy trying to pull you back. Have you ever wondered why they're so angry? It's because your success highlights their limitations. Instead of rising, they lash out. Instead of growing, they criticize. They see you thriving, and rather than learning from your example, they waste their energy trying to tear you down. But you've already mastered the secret. Your energy is too valuable to be wasted on battles that don't matter. Do you know what's even more powerful? You don't have to hide from them. You don't avoid the fight because you're afraid. You avoid it because you've outgrown it. You've created a space for yourself so high above the noise that their bitterness cannot touch you. Consider Jesus on the cross. While he was mocked and insulted, he didn't retaliate. Instead, he said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. His silence wasn't weakness, it was strength. His focus was on fulfilling his purpose, not proving himself to those who could never understand him. And have you felt the pull to defend yourself against their words? Have you been tempted to stoop to their level? Don't. Because every step you take upward makes their attacks weaker. The higher you rise, the less their words matter. So keep climbing. Keep evolving. Let them throw their stones if they must, but remember, they can't reach you. Their hate is a reflection of their own limits, not yours. And while they're busy looking up at you in frustration, you're already focused on your next move, your next challenge, and your next level. Number 11. They fear the fact that you're just getting started. Why are they so uneasy when they see you? It's not just because of what you've accomplished. It's because they can sense the truth. You're only getting started. They've seen your victories, your milestones, and your growth, and they're hoping, praying that you've reached your peak. But deep down, they know better. Think of David after defeating Goliaths. 1 Samuel 17:50-54. The Philistines were terrified, not just because David won the battle, but because they realized his victory was just the beginning. He wasn't a one-time champion. He was destined for something far greater. Your haters sense the same thing in you. Your hunger, your vision, and your relentless drive terrify them because they know you're not done. Have you ever wondered why they try to convince themselves that you've peaked? It's because it comforts them. It allows them to believe that your success has limits, that you'll stop rising. But every time they think they've seen the best of you, you raise the bar. You keep evolving, keep growing, and keep proving that there are no limits to what you can achieve. What they fail to understand is this: your victories are not the destination. They're just checkpoints along the journey. Every success fuels the fire inside you. Every step forward expands your potential. You don't settle for good enough because you know that your best is yet to come. Think about this. When the Apostle Paul wrote, "I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus," Philippians 3:14, he knew that the journey wasn't over. He refused to stop or slow down because he understood that the prize was greater than any temporary victory. You carry that same mindset. You're pressing forward, always looking ahead, always ready for the next breakthrough. Let me ask you this. Can you feel it? That sense that something bigger is coming, that everything you've achieved so far is just the foundation. Your hunger doesn't fade, it grows. Your success doesn't satisfy you, it inspires you. And that's what terrifies them most. While they're hoping you'll stop, you're already planning your next move. While they're busy convincing themselves that you've peaked, you're quietly evolving, building, and preparing for what comes next. Your best doesn't have an expiration date. It only expands the more you push yourself. And here's the part they can't accept. When you finally hit your stride, when you unleash everything you've been preparing for, they'll be left behind, staring in awe at what you've become. So don't slow down. Don't let their fears become yours. Every victory you've achieved so far is proof that there's more inside you, more strength, more vision, more greatness waiting to be unleashed. You're just getting started, and that's what scares them the most. Number 12. You've made peace with being the villain. Have you ever been labeled dangerous? At first, it stung. They called you rebellious, disruptive, too bold for their liking. But now, you've made peace with it. In fact, you've embraced it. Why? Because you've realized something they haven't. Those who change the world are always misunderstood first. Look at Jesus. He wasn't accepted by the religious leaders of his time. They called him a threat, a blasphemer, and a disruptor of their traditions. Why? Because he didn't fit into their mold. He healed on the Sabbath, welcomed sinners, and dared to teach a message that challenged everything they thought they knew. John 5:16-18. Jesus didn't seek their approval. He didn't bow to their expectations. Instead, he set a new standard, one that reshaped the course of history. Sound familiar? Like him, you refuse to conform to their neatly defined lines. To them, dangerous is an accusation. It's their way of dismissing you, of making you smaller so they can feel comfortable. But you've learned to flip the script. You've turned their insult into your strength. Let me ask you this. Who decided that playing it safe was the ultimate goal? Who said you had to fit into their boxes, abide by their rules, or live for their approval? You've realized that real change, real progress, and real breakthroughs don't happen in comfort zones. They happen when someone is brave enough to step out, push boundaries, and challenge the norm, regardless of who it makes uncomfortable. Think of the prophet Elijah. He was labeled as trouble for Israel by King Ahab, 1 Kings 18:17-18. Why? Because Elijah dared to call out the king's sin and challenge the false prophets who led people astray. Was Elijah dangerous? To Ahab and the corrupt systems he stood against, yes. But Elijah's boldness brought truth and revival to a nation. His courage was a direct threat to the complacency and corruption they refused to abandon. Have you noticed how your courage does the same? Your boldness exposes their fears. Your independence highlights their dependence. Your success challenges their excuses. And rather than rising with you, they label you dangerous. But here's the reality. Their criticism is nothing more than a reflection of their fear. Fear that you might be right. Fear that they'll be left behind. And fear that your very existence shatters the limitations they've accepted for themselves. So let them call you the villain. Let them whisper, doubt, and criticize. Because when they say you're dangerous, what they really mean is that you're powerful. Dangerous doesn't mean reckless. It means disruptive. It means bold. It means refusing to settle for a mediocre life just because it makes others more comfortable. Here's something to think about. When did being different become a crime? When did being bold become something to apologize for? The answer is, it never did. The world simply fears what it cannot control. You've stopped apologizing for their discomfort because you understand that greatness isn't achieved by fitting in. It's achieved by standing out. Consider this. If Noah had listened to his critics, the ark would never have been built. If Moses had conformed to Pharaoh's demands, Israel would still be in slavery. If Jesus had played it safe, salvation would have never come. The greatest stories of transformation were written by people who refused to shrink back in the face of opposition. Are you starting to see it now? The label of villain isn't a burden, it's a badge of honor. It means you've chosen courage over conformity, purpose over popularity, and faith over fear. You're not here to live small. You're not here to tiptoe around their expectations. You're here to change the game entirely. So let me ask you this. Are you willing to be misunderstood for the sake of your purpose? Are you willing to challenge the rules that hold others back, knowing it might make you a target? If so, you've already won. You've already broken free from the need for their approval, and that freedom is what makes you unstoppable. They'll never understand you, and that's perfectly fine. Their confusion is not your responsibility. Their fear is not your burden. You are carving a path they've never dared to walk. You're reshaping the world, and all they can do is watch from the sidelines, stuck in their comfort while you thrive in your purpose. So stand tall in your so-called danger. Wear the label proudly. You're not the villain. They just don't have the vision to see what you're building. While they're busy criticizing, you're too focused on writing your own rules, living unapologetically, and proving that greatness doesn't come from fitting in. It comes from breaking free. You've accepted that they'll never understand you. You've made peace with being labeled dangerous. And you know what? That's what makes you unstoppable. Keep moving forward, Chosen One. You're not just rewriting the rules. You're creating a legacy that will outlive their doubts. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered what sets you apart, the undeniable strength that makes you unstoppable. You've learned to thrive in chaos, turn rejection into fuel, and rise above the noise of the world. You've mastered silence as a weapon, embraced unpredictability as your strength, and shattered the expectations that tried to hold you back. You've made peace with being misunderstood, with being called dangerous, because you understand the truth. Those who change the world are often the ones who challenge it. You've refused to fit into the molds others designed for you. Instead, you've chosen to create your own path, redefine the rules, and live with purpose, power, and courage. To every challenge you've risen, to every doubt, you've answered with action, and to every attempt to tear you down, you've responded by soaring higher than they ever imagined possible. You are not here to blend in. You are here to lead, disrupt, and inspire. If this message has resonated with you, if you felt the fire, the truth, and the unstoppable energy that drives us forward, I want to thank you. Thank you for showing up, for embracing your own power, and for refusing to settle for anything less than the greatness you were created for. You are part of a community that refuses to be ordinary. Together, we are a force, bold, courageous, and unshakable. Each step you take toward your purpose is a victory, and I am honored to walk alongside you on this journey. May you continue to rise higher, step boldly into your purpose, and silence every voice of doubt with the sound of your success. May you find strength in your struggles, clarity in your challenges, and peace in knowing that you're exactly where you're meant to be. May you be blessed with wisdom, favor, and an unshakable belief in your ability to redefine the game and leave a legacy that will outlast the noise. If you've connected with this journey, let it be just the beginning. Hit that subscribe button and join a growing community of like-minded individuals who dare to live boldly and unapologetically. We're just getting started, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Together, we'll keep pushing boundaries, breaking barriers, and proving that the greatest power lies in living life on our own terms. Subscribe now, and let's continue this journey together. The best is yet to come. You are unstoppable. Keep rising, keep thriving, and never stop being the force you were created to be.